Throughout history, countless civilizations have risen, thrived, and mysteriously vanished, leaving only fragmented remnants of their existence. Some societies disappeared due to war, natural disasters, or internal collapse. Others were slowly absorbed into new cultures, their unique identities fading into obscurity. However, some are truly lost, known only through scattered ruins, ancient texts, or whispered legends. While we can never fully uncover their secrets, the ruins they left behind hold tantalizing clues to their once great societies. Keep watching to learn more about lost civilizations and discover their hidden mysteries. What is a lost civilization? Before delving into the lost civilizations in this video, it's important to clarify what it means for a civilization to be lost. Some cultures, like the Hittites of Anatolia or the Khmer people of Southeast Asia, were forgotten by history until archaeologists rediscovered them. Others, like the legendary Tartessos of the land of Punt, remain mysterious, without archaeological proof of their existence. However, since records on truly lost civilizations are so scarce, this video will focus on civilizations that are lost in a different sense. These civilizations have been lost to time because their people and cultures are extinct. Their populations and cultures may have been lost to climate crises, natural disasters, disease, or invasions. There are records of them, but they no longer exist. Their existence is lost, but their history is not. The Hittites. The Hittites were one of the great powers of the ancient Near East, ruling a vast kingdom in Anatolia, also known as Asia Minor or modern-day Turkey, from around 1600 to 1200 BCE. They developed a culture from the indigenous Hatti people and possibly the Hurrian people, and they expanded their territories into an empire large enough to threaten the established nation of Egypt. They were formidable warriors, skilled diplomats, and early adopters of iron weaponry. Their capital, Hattusa, was a political and military power hub, rivaling Egypt and Babylon. Modern historians know them through several records. The Hittites were mentioned in the Bible's Old Testament as adversaries of the Israelites, and they were also featured in Egyptian records, which referred to them as the Kingdom of Kedah. The Hittites also left some of their own records, in which they referred to themselves as the Neshians. The name we know them by today is from the Bible and the Amarna letters of Egypt, not necessarily from Hittite records. This ancient empire peaked from 1344 to 1295 BC, under the reign of King Suppiluliuma I and his son Mursili II. After their reigns, it began to decline. Eventually, after its capital was destroyed and it suffered repeated attacks by the Sea Peoples, it fell to the Assyrians. Despite their prominence, the Hittite Empire fell around 1200 BC during the mysterious Late Bronze Age collapse. Their cities were abandoned, and their history was forgotten for millennia. Only in the 19th century did archaeologists rediscover their existence, piecing together their story through inscriptions and ruined palaces. Today, their language and culture are extinct, known only through the relics they left behind. Cahokia. Before Europeans arrived in North America, Cahokia was a thriving urban center along the Mississippi River. At its peak, around 1100 AD, it was home to tens of thousands of people and featured massive earthen mounds, advanced agricultural practices, and trade networks spanning the continent. Historians speculate that it was one of the largest pre-Columbian cities in North America, with a population comparable to London's at the time. Its peak occurred about 4 centuries before Columbus stumbled upon the Americas. Located in southwestern Illinois, about 8 miles from present-day St. Louis, it was probably the largest North American city north of Mexico then. It was built by the Mississippians, a group of Native Americans who occupied much of the present-day southeastern United States, from the Mississippi River to the shores of the Atlantic. While North America is not often associated with lost civilizations, and Cahokia lacks fame compared to civilizations like the Hittites, it was a sophisticated city for its time. However, very little is known about its history. The little we do know is fascinating. The Native Americans at Cahokia farmed, traded, and hunted, but they were also early urban planners. They used astronomical alignments to lay out a low-scale metropolis of up to 20,000 people, featuring a town center with broad public plazas and key buildings set atop vast hand-built earthen mounds, the largest of which was 100 feet tall and covered 14 acres. Its ruins still exist today. The city they built is a wonder, and could have kept developing just as other ancient cities, such as London, did. Instead, it became a lost city. By 1350 AD, its people had largely abandoned it. The reason for its decline is still a mystery. Climate change, resource depletion, and possible internal conflicts may have contributed to it. Unlike other ancient cultures that transformed over time, the people of Cahokia left no direct successors. Their language, political structure, and traditions vanished, making them one of the most intriguing extinct civilizations of the Americas. The Khmer Empire. Between the 9th and 15th centuries, the Khmer Empire reigned supreme across Southeast Asia, a sprawling power anchored by Angkor, its awe-inspiring capital. Imagine a metropolis teeming with life, its scale rivaling even the grandest pre-industrial cities of history. But the Khmers were more than conquerors. They engineered agricultural wonders, intricate networks of canals and reservoirs that defied the region's monsoonal extremes. Towering above it all is Angkor Wat, a temple complex of celestial ambition, where innovations and spirituality fused, leaving a legacy carved in stone and water. By the 7th century, the Khmer people inhabited territories along the Mekong River, the world's 7th longest river, from the delta to the modern Cambodia-Laos border. They used their capital city of Angkor as a base, expanding mainly to the north and west. They did try to expand east, but wars met them against two of their powerful neighbors, the Cham in modern-day central Vietnam and the Vietnamese in today's northern Vietnam. Even though they earned several victories, the Khmer people were never able to annex those lands. Throughout the Khmer Empire's history, the Khmer court was often concerned with putting down rebellions instigated by ambitious nobles trying to gain independence or fighting conspiracies against the king. Rebellions were rampant each time a king died, as successions were typically contested. The Khmer were great builders when they weren't at war or busy squashing rebellions. They filled their territories with monumental temples, huge reservoirs called baray, canals, and an extensive road network that included a variety of bridges. Some of the main highways were nearly 500 miles long. Their most famous architectural feat is the temple, Angkor Wat, which is intact today and attracts thousands of tourists. It was rediscovered and unearthed from the jungle in the 19th century and has attracted amazed visitors ever since. It is an enormous Buddhist temple complex and is said to be the largest religious monument in the world. Its name translates to Temple City in the Khmer language. It was most likely built by Emperor Suryavarman II, who ruled the Khmer Empire from 1113 to 1150. Although now a Buddhist temple, it was initially dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu, who is considered the protector and sustainer of the universe. Despite the incredible archaeological remains the Khmer left behind, by the 15th century, their capital city was largely deserted, and the empire had declined. Historians debate whether prolonged droughts, shifting trade routes, or external invasions caused its downfall. While modern Cambodians trace their ancestry to the Khmer people, the empire's unique language, customs, and political institutions disappeared, leaving behind only its grand stone ruins. The Minoans. The Minoans, who inhabited Crete between 3000 and 1100 BC, were one of the earliest advanced civilizations in Europe. They were a seagoing people who once dominated commerce and influenced the Eastern Mediterranean's culture before their civilization ended. They built elaborate palaces like Knossos, developed a complex writing system, and established extensive maritime trade networks. Though they were ancient and much of their history is lost, the Minoans left an incredible legacy of labyrinthine palace complexes, vivid frescoes depicting scenes such as bull-leaping ceremonies and processions, fine gold jewelry, elegant stone vases, and pottery with vibrant decorations of marine life. They are known as the Minoans, named after the legendary king Minos, who, in Greek mythology, built a legendary labyrinth to contain a half-bull, half-man creature known as the Minotaur. Many settlements and cemeteries have been discovered on Greece's island of Crete. These include the major four palaces of Knossos, Phaistos, Melia, and Zakros. These sites may have acted as local administrative, trade, religious, and possibly political centers. However, the relationship between the palace structures and the power structures governing them or the island is uncertain. While they left ruins and art behind, they left so few records that we know almost nothing of their civilization beyond their architecture. Despite their achievements, the Minoan civilization collapsed. Some scholars believe the massive therovolcanic eruption weakened them, triggering tsunamis and agricultural failures. Others believe that a massive earthquake caused the sudden decline of the civilization. Others point to the Mycenaean invasion as the final blow to their civilization. While elements of Minoan culture persisted in later Greek societies, their language, Linear A, remains undeciphered, and their civilization as an independent entity ceased to exist. The Sogdians. The Sogdians were a thriving Central Asian civilization known for their vital role in the Silk Road trade between China, Persia, and the Mediterranean. From the 4th to the 10th century AD, they built prosperous cities, developed a distinctive art style, and spread their language and customs across Eurasia. Although the Sogdians are lesser known in the Western world than the Hittites, the Khmer, or the Minoans, they had a significant influence on world art, culture, and trade. Although they were a small civilization, their influence was vast, primarily due to their location. The Sogdians were an Iranian people whose homeland, Sogdiana, was located at the center of several Silk Road routes in present-day Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. First recorded in the 5th century as a province of the Achaemenid Persian Empire, and later conquered by Alexander the Great on his journey east across Asia, Sogdiana reached its peak from the 4th to the 8th centuries AD. During this period, it was a patchwork of towns and agricultural land. However, the Sogdians' influence did not end at the borders of Sogdiana. They were nomadic people whose mobility is part of the reason their impact is so widespread. Even though the Sogdians had significant influence, they did not rely on political or military power. They had no empire, and their political organization at home in Sogdiana was a series of small principalities with individual leaders. The Sogdians became so influential because they set up merchant communities as they traveled, using their nomadic lifestyle to their advantage to connect them to distant regions. They specialized in trading highly sought-after commodities across distant international markets. Among their cultural strengths was remarkable adaptability. They skillfully navigated foreign languages, customs, and commercial environments, enabling them to capitalize on emerging prospects for financial gain. They primarily dealt in silk, but they also traded horses from the Fergana Valley, gemstones from India, furs from the steppes to the north, and even the famed golden peaches of Samarkand, mentioned in Chinese poetry, which were famed to be as large as goose eggs and yellow as gold. The Sogdians were also skilled artisans, making and selling goods such as metalworks and textiles across the Asian steppe and into China. Islam's rise and other empires' expansion led to their decline, and by the end of the 10th century, the Sogdian identity had faded, absorbed into Persian and Turkic cultures. Despite the Sogdians' central role in the workings of the Silk Road, they were largely forgotten for 1,000 years. Their language became extinct, and their cities crumbled, leaving only fragments of their once great civilization. They were finally rediscovered in the early 20th century, and historians' understanding of their importance has only grown since then. How would you like to get a deeper understanding of history, impress your friends, and predict the future more accurately based on past events? If this sounds like something you might be into, then check out the brand new Captivating History Book Club by clicking the first link in the description. Also, grab your free Mythology Bundle ebook while they're still available. All links are in the description. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this.